Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome to the first regular video I'm going to be doing on Roblox songs. So I did a few videos a little while ago that a lot of people liked and they wanted me to get to more, so I'm getting to more now. I have a lot of Blocktail stuff that's also in my executive producer queue on Patreon, so I'm going to be getting to those as well. But first, I'm going to be listening to these. This is Ready or Not and Plead, both by Key After Key. I know nothing about the games, just as a forewarning if you've never watched the channel before. I don't know what the game is about, what it's like, what it even looks like. I'm just going into this completely blind. Other than it being on Roblox, I have no clue. These are both very short songs compared to what I usually get to, so how I handle those is listening to one, doing my reaction and analysis on it, then doing the second song followed by that analysis. So just in case, again, you're new and you don't know how I usually do my format, that's what we're doing here. And without further ado, let's go! Wait, bouncy right off the bat. The sound font is so strange. Ooh. Kind of whimsical, though. Bro snuck in spooky, scary skeletons. Oh. Round of applause. That was hilarious. This definitely reminds me a lot of, like, especially N64 era games, like the Rare games that were there, like Banjo-Kazooie, has a little bit of Grant Kirkhope energy to it. It's just a little goofy, you know? It's kind of self-aware. I love that. I love that they just threw that in there. Nice accents on the lift there. Just keeping everything moving. Building up, building up. A little ending there too. Okay, I'm not sure if other songs from Roblox stuff are gonna sound similar to this. I feel like this might just be the identity of this specific composer, but I kind of wonder if this sound font that they're using is like a standard that a bunch of people do, like if it's a library that you can download and utilize stuff that's supported within. I know that Roblox is more advanced than that. You could basically just import whatever song you want to, so I'm pretty certain that this is just the sound that they're going for, and that's great. I'm also just very not aware of Roblox in general. I've literally never touched it. I've seen gameplay, of course, who hasn't, but I've never watched anything specifically. It was never something I played myself. I'm a little too old for that, frankly. I'm just shy of 30, and it's like, it was never part of my childhood or anything, and at the time it became popular, I wasn't really playing games, and I still am not right now. So as far as that aspect, I've just been kind of ignorant to how that world is and how things work there. So I'm gonna assume and go off the assumption that this is just this composer's specific sound, and the sound font they used is just their own identity and their own signature, so to speak. So that makes sense to me, but I just wanted to clarify that that's definitely a thing with me. As far as the composition itself, it was lighthearted, whimsical, it was fun, but also had this like kind of spooky edge to it, not just because of the spooky, scary skeletons in there, just because overall that was the vibe. It had like this like goofy Halloween sound to it. I don't know how else to explain that really. The way it was written was very like Chaos Carnival, I suppose, is probably the other way I would word that. You know, it's just like evil carnival sound to it. It was just bouncy and lighthearted and just like, you know, you can't help but kind of vibe to it, you know? So like, that's what I was doing the whole time. I like the specifics in here of like, again, that like crash cymbal kicking up with the note every single time, adding that accent as the song went up and creating a bigger lift on those moments in the songs. I think that's a really good idea. And I also don't know how much of a composer composer this composer is. I looked at their YouTube channel, saw they had quite a few subscribers. It was like 150,000 or something like that. So clearly they've been doing this for a while and know what they're doing and have a following as a result of it. And I can see why, but also this song specifically is just so simplified in what it is that I can't quite tell, because I have such a limited viewpoint on who they are as a composer, to know if they're going to get more complex or if they're going to keep it simple like this, which is in most cases all you need to do. Keep it simple, keep the mood going, but you don't have to like add too much or get way too complex in the musicality of a piece. You just need to have something there that's memorable and fun. And in this case, having even that little motif reference of spooky scary skeletons is a good thing. Having a little cheeky thing in there just as a reference is always a good idea, especially if somebody's newer, albeit I'm pretty sure this composer's been around for a while, so I don't think that that was the case. It's more just like a, hey, let's meme on this and kind of lean into the joke a little bit. But again, I don't even know what game this is for. Like, I don't know what Forsaken is. I only know it by name. So for all I know, Forsaken could be a very self-referential, kind of tongue-in-cheek sort of game that doesn't really need much more than that. Just simple, but also very effective in what it is. This is also the secret to making something that's memorable, I would dare say iconic to a degree, where you take something super simple, but that is effective. You make it easy to remember, so if somebody places it in another property or uses it elsewhere, people will hear it and immediately recognize that melody. It's the same reason why things like Megalovania did so well. It's a fairly simple piece, but in the grand scheme of things, it just sounds so iconic to that moment, and it had such an impact on the game. And it's things like that that can separate the wheat from the chaff and make you an amazing composer in a sea of more mediocre composers. So this is already a very good start to see, and I wonder what their other music sounds like. But now I've got to get to Plead and hear what that is, so maybe that'll get me a little bit more of an identity on the composer here. So I guess let's go to that one. I didn't expect the video. Also, this one is already way more complex than the other one was. Okay. Completely different genre. This is what I like to see. Variety. Not just doing the same thing over and over again. I can see it now. Now I understand why people like this composer. Okay. My opinion has shifted. I respect the heavy drop too. Very good use of pitch bends. Very good use. All right. Okay. Yeah. My opinion has now shifted because now I have more context, and that is definitely different. After that first song, I did not anticipate orchestral rock to be in the mix, but here we are. Way different experience. The build on this song was really nice, really tasteful. Yet again, though, very simple. Like, the orchestral part did not go too hard. The rock part was definitely more of the focus, but even then, they kept it very standard. Like, there wasn't anything in here that caught me off guard necessarily, other than the general experience of hearing this after that last one. Completely different experience there. But as far as the composition goes, it was still very simple. They kept to root chords. They didn't do anything like crazy in the rhythm section at all. Not even anything crazy in the lead, really. But I did love those pitch bends because they weren't overdone and they weren't underdone either. It was like the perfect balance of having those pitch bends in there. Some people will way overdo that when they're like first discovering how to do pitch bends, and it's just too much. And then some people don't know how to do them at all, and you're like, ooh, there could have been one there. You know, you start to feel it out after a while. So for this, I'm sitting here listening to it going, okay, so they definitely understand general musicality and structure of music. This is no longer me going, are they new? This is more, okay, they know what they're doing here. They're just keeping it simple for the same factor that they don't need to overdo it, so they aren't. But I would say that if I had to pick anything negative out about these specifically, it would definitely be the production quality. The mixing in these is not all that great, and I figure they just don't know exactly how to approach that, and they don't really care. A lot of people who make music don't tend to know how to mix. They probably should, but at the same time, some people just don't push it and they don't bother with it, or they have somebody else do it. For this, it just sounds way too muddy down in the bottom end. There's like no clarity in any of these. I can't really pick out certain things in the lower rhythm section because it's just too much. It's basically just one giant like there's nothing there separating those pieces out and separating the layers to be able to hear them more clearly. Overall, I've heard worse mixes. It's not like this is the worst thing I've ever heard, but they definitely could use some time to work in that field a little bit more, because that's the one place I would say that they're lacking on so far. From the other song to this one, both of those compositions, simple but effective, that's always a good thing, but the mixing just being a little bit too squishy. There's just no clarity in here whatsoever, really. Everything's there, but you can't tell where things are, and that's a problem. So start messing around with like panning a little bit, doing stuff like that would definitely clear this up almost immediately, especially with that low end I was talking about. That's most of it, really. Panning is so much of the mixing process that people really underestimate. So key after key, if you're watching this, that's the only thing I would say to work on, the mixing and production value overall. In general, the composition's there. It has the potential of being iconic, but as far as just getting it in the ear feel, it doesn't really sit well. And also, to play devil's advocate there, this is a Roblox song. You know, like, I'm not saying that quality isn't deserved on the Roblox side, but I could also see it not being focused on because most of the time it's probably just kids or people who aren't paying attention to the music in the background. You know, like, whatever's happening there is irrelevant as long as they're playing the game. But music plays such a huge factor into any experience that if you don't have it mixed well, it can affect the experience negatively. So do that, you know, work with it a little bit, get used to some panning, mess around with that a lot. Just, there's so many things you could do with that. You can start putting things in other parts of the ears and like get really crazy with it, throw things out there and have like vocals, you know, kind of just showing up wherever. Just have fun with it. But really, that's all I've got to say on this one. I know I'll be hearing a lot more from this composer and this game, as well as stuff like Blocktails, so this is definitely not going to be the last time I've heard anything from Key After Key, but I'm sure I'll hear more and get a bigger picture of who they are as a composer as we go on. There is plenty of time for that to happen. But thank you all so very much for watching what is my first regular Roblox music reaction and analysis video, and there will be plenty more to come. Like I said, we got plenty in the works yet. But if you have something specific you want me to get to, by all means, drop it in the comments below. The way I usually do these videos is finding the comments from the last video on the same subject and pulling the top comment out of it. So if somebody else commented something you want me to listen to, upvote that one, and I'll probably get to that one next if it has enough. But of course, if you just like this video and you want to follow me and support me for other stuff coming in the future, you know how to do all that, and I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye!